Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of All Things Sky Blue match preview, which is against Norwich on Saturday. As you can see, I'm joined by Mark again. Evening, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, evening, shit. Yeah, good, thanks. Hope everyone's well. Yeah, all good.
Good. And we will be joined by Peter. Let's welcome Peter in. Hi, Peter. You okay?
Very well, thank you, gents. Yourselves?
All well and good. Thank you. All well and good. So, if you want to just quickly introduce yourself, Peter, let us know sort of the thing you do and how you're a Norwich fan.
Right. Well, obviously, lived in Norwich all my life, so support my local team. First went along to Carrow Road with my father back in 1983, so 40 years ago now. Spent 15 years as the club's programme editor from 2000 to 2015, and I now just contribute to the programme on a freelance basis as well.
Oh, okay, nice, lovely. So over your time then, Peter, who's been the sort of the standout players for you?
The standout players, well, there's been several. I suppose when I first started going, John Dean, Keith Birchin, then moving on to Robert Fleck, who scored a few goals against Coventry down the years, and then obviously a good mutual friend in Darren Huckabee, who obviously I know you guys have got a lot of time for as well.
Yeah, most definitely have happy times with Hookers and Dublin and the rest of the great bunch that we had.
Of course, yeah. So many strong links between Norwich and Coventry. Obviously, Greg Downs, who was in your cup-winning side,
right,
came from Norwich, and there's been a plethora of players who played for both clubs, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has indeed. Obviously, before I go into sort of the lowdown of our last meetings and stuff, obviously we're coming back off a win on Wednesday night against Blackburn Rovers at home. How did you find that game, Mark?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a game where we've really ground out a result. I think Blackburn were probably one of the best sides I've seen come to the CBS Arena this season. I thought they played some really good football.
Yeah,
I thought we started the game well. I thought we were on the front foot. Binks had a good shot, which was well saved, and he's definitely been one of the most impressive players so far this season. And then I felt after Kelly got injured, I think he's injured his hamstring. I felt Blackburn took control of the game, and they were the better side. Ben Wilson again making a fantastic save from, ironically, Jimmy Hill's shot, which hit the crossbar. It would have been funny if Jimmy Hill scored against us.
It would have been.
It would have been even better if it was an own goal, but that's another story. I thought second half we started well. We were pressing Blackburn really well. Obviously hit the woodwork with Matty Godden. And obviously again hit the woodwork with Bobby Thomas from the corner. Blackburn looked dangerous. They were still pretty dangerous going forward. So I felt it was a game it could have gone either way. And unfortunately we got that goal, which I thought really good shot from Iari. I thought he came on and he did well. That was much better, much more positive. And credit to Hadji Wright. It looks an easy chance, an easy header to put away. But in all fairness, it wasn't as easy as it looked. And he took his chance really well. So, that was good for his confidence because he hasn't scored for a while, not since Middlesbrough. So that'll do his confidence a world of good. And also the team as well to manage to, just to see out the remaining minutes and get that win because obviously we didn't quite manage to do that against Huddersfield. So, it wasn't an easy game. I wouldn't say it was a vintage COV performance, but it's about 3 points in the day. And considering the number of injuries we've got, to come away with that game with 3 points is brilliant and gets us up, in a better position now. I think around just below halfway now, 13th in the league. So, all in all, really positive result. And hopefully we can get something on Saturday now.
Yeah, for me, I thought our Yassin took a little bit, quite a while to get into the game, but he did grow into the game, and like you said, he did have a brilliant shot. So obviously, as we're coming off a win, unfortunately, Peter, you're coming off an away loss to Swansea 2-1. How was that game for you? How do you reflect on that?
It wasn't a match that'll live too long in the memory, to be honest with you, gents. From either side, I mean, got to say, Swansea were a very, very poor side, and we still managed to contrive to lose against them. We got off to a very, very poor start, falling behind made a mess of playing the ball out of defence and fell behind after 3 minutes. We then did manage to get back on level terms sort of midway through the first half. The first half was a pretty dire performance from both sides, really. There wasn't a lot to like about it, to be honest with you. Second half, Norwich were a lot better, particularly for the first sort of half an hour of the second half, but couldn't get their noses in front and paid the penalty at the end, really.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. So let's look at our last games. You are a bit of a bogey side for us, Peter, I must say. I did a little bit of research before we come on. The last 8 games, we've drew 2, and you guys have actually won 6. We've lost 6. The last time that we beat you, we went on a 3-game run, but the most recent one was on the 28th of February, 1998.
Really?
Yeah, that's how long it's been since we've actually got a win.
Was that one at Carrow Road when Chris Coleman was manager?
Yeah, I think it was. I think he, I said, we had
98. It wouldn't have been.
98.
No,
Gordon's tracking.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we had 3 games where we won. I think it was home, away, home. I think it was, and then we had, like I said, we haven't beat you since. We've drew 2 and we've lost 6. So you are a little bit of a bogey side for us. If I'm honest, I can't. I just remember you guys. The last game that we played, I just remember you guys just absolutely playing us off the park. How are your memories of the last game that you played?
Yes, I was at that match at the Arena. That was David Wagner's second match in charge, or second league match in charge anyway, and he made a flying start as Norwich manager. We went up to Preston, won 4-0 in his first game, and then we were 3 up inside about, I think, 15 minutes or so. It was a real quick out the blocks affair against Coventry to put ourselves well in front. But then in fairness to Coventry, they roared right back to 3-2 by half time, and then Norwich managed to get the all-important sort of re-establish that 2-goal lead early in the second half, which made the difference, I think, really. But at the end of the day, we done the double over Coventry last season, but we ended up in 13th in the table, and you guys got within penalty kicks of the Premier League. So, it's not, you just never know, do you?
Yeah, that's right. It's as people once said, it's a funny old game, isn't it?
Very true.
Any questions, Mark, at the moment?
Obviously, I'm looking at the injury list at Norwich: Ashley Barnes, Grant Hanley, Jakob Lungi, Sorensen, Josh Sargent, Nunes. I mean, how concerned are you with the number of injuries to those players? I mean, Sargent for me is a massive player for you. How big a loss have those guys been for Norwich City?
Absolute disaster, really. I mean, we had a really good start to the season. The first month was excellent, but the last game of the month was the game away to Huddersfield, which we won 4-0, and it was in scoring the opening goal in that game that Sargent got injured. And obviously he's now going to be sidelined until at least the new year, we're led to believe. So that was a big blow. And then on top of that, 2 or 3 weeks later, we've then lost Ashley Barnes as well. So we're very light as far as strikers are concerned. And I think the thing that's worrying fans at the moment is where are the goals going to come from, realistically. The other players, obviously the captain, Grant Hanley, he's been out since, I think it was the Easter game away to Blackburn last season. He got a nasty injury, but he's on the road to recovery. They're hopeful he might be playing again before the calendar year is out. But it's those strikers, they're the ones. Having Sargent and Barnes both injured is a big problem to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've still got Onal Hernandez, haven't you? Has he been playing much for you recently?
He's a sort of a wide attacking player who, if I'm honest with you, he sort of flatters to deceive a bit. He's got a lot of pace and a lot of tricks, but the end product is very rarely there.
Right, okay, fair enough. Obviously, we've mentioned injuries and stuff, but you have had quite a high turnover in ins and outs, haven't you, as well? I believe you've had about 19 in and 19 out. Some of the notable sort of players that I noted was Danny Bath from Sunderland, Jack Stacey, Adam Forshaw, and Ashley Barnes. They've all got sort of good Premier League pedigree that they've come from. How have they settled in? Have they? Has it been slow?
No, I mean I think the star of that bunch that you've mentioned has probably been the right back Jack Stacey, who came from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He came on a free transfer, and we sent Max Aarons the other way for a considerable amount of money. And most people seem to think we look as if we've got a better player. He's done really, really well. He gets forward, supports the attack well, links up well with Christian Fashnat on the right side of midfield, and he looks a more than capable defender as well. So we're really pleased with him. He's played, I think, he's played every game. He's been ever present, and I think he's probably played every minute of every game. I don't recall him coming off. Scored his first goal in the 1-0 win against Stoke, and he's been, a real solid and star performer for us. Barnes had done well up until the injury. And the other players, obviously, Forshaw has come in just recently. He was a free agent, really. He'd been released by Leeds, and I think was available. But obviously, he's had his injury problems down the years. But I think they're sort of treating him with kid gloves. It's a sort of a half here, a start there, an hour here, rather than playing him for 90 minutes all the time.
Yeah, obviously. Also, regarding obviously your outs, Timo Pukki had left. In retrospect, with the injuries that you got, do you kind of wish that you may have kept him for another year? Or was it the right time to let him go?
Well, I think he'd just about done all he could do at Norwich, realistically. I think his heart was set on a move, probably for financial reasons as much as anything else. I think it was trying, and the squad did need freshening up. I mean, Pukki had been part of 2 promotion-winning teams, but also 2 relegation teams. It needed freshening up, and it has given the chance to Sargent, when fit, obviously, to play through the middle, because he'd previously been in a more sort of attacking wide position and wasn't that effective. But when playing through the middle, he's been better. So it's enabled Sargent to play in a more effective role, and to bring in some new players as well.
Yeah. Is there anybody that you kind of were a little bit disappointed that they let go?
Not really. I don't think so. No, I think most of them were ones. Well, it was disappointing to see Max Aarons go, because obviously he was a young lad who'd come through the academy, and I think you always have a little soft spot for your low, the players that come through, don't they, the homegrown ones. But he wanted the opportunity of Premier League football, so you can't stand in his way, can you really? No. And obviously there's the financial aspect to it. Some of the players we sold, Milot Rashica went to Turkey, and the club needed the money for these players.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Anything to add, Mark?
What's the expectations, Peter, of Norwich this season? I mean, obviously this is your second season in the Championship. Do you think the board would be expecting at least playoffs this season?
What, the board or the supporters? Sorry.
I guess both would be.
Both. Well, I think from the supporters' point of view, it's just a mixed bag. You'll get some people who think Norwich should be in the Premier League, and then you get some who are a bit more longer in the tooth and a bit more realistic about it, and accept that the Championship is a tough old beast, isn't it? There's some very, very good teams in there, a lot bigger clubs than Norwich. Certainly now with Leeds, Southampton, Leicester. I mean, I know we're in our last year of parachute money, but. Those clubs are coming down with some fairly impressive squads and money behind them. And then obviously you've got other clubs, like Coventry, for example, who came so close last year. You've got an excellent manager. I'm sure there must be a real sort of feel-good factor around your club from what happened last season, how close you came. I know we also lost a playoff final on penalties, so we share your pain, but it does. But a bit like when you got into the playoffs last season, when that happened to us back in 2001-2, it was unexpected. We got 6th on the last day of the season, so anything you got was a bonus, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But and we built on that, so I'm sure you'll do likewise. But as far as expectations are concerned, there'll be some supporters think because we've won the league, 2 of the last 3 times we've been in this division, we should do it again. And there'll be others who think the squad's pretty average and we'll be lucky to finish in the top half. It depends who you speak to.
Sure.
Yeah, you've had a bit of an up and down season at the moment. I know obviously you are slightly ahead of us by, I think it's 2 points. But I think you've lost your last 4 away games, 5 if you include the cup, haven't you?
I think it's 4 4 including the cup. Yeah.
Oh,
We
4
lost,
including the cup.
we lost at Rotherham, then we lost at Plymouth, then we lost in the cup at Fulham, and then obviously the match you're talking about last night as well. So yeah, that takes it up to 4. Could be 5 on Saturday. We'll obviously have to wait and see. But yeah, you're right. It's been an absolute mixed bag. The start was good, in fairness, but the loss of Sargent to injury, then they lost the first game at Rotherham, and since then it's just been a real sort of a real mixed bag.
Yeah. Obviously, going on to Saturday's game, what sort of threats do you see us posing you guys?
Well, I think you're a very well organised side. You don't tend to concede too many goals, do you? That's for sure. Am I right in saying was your goalkeeper your player of the season? He wasn't your player of the season last year, but did he get the Golden Glove or something in the
Yeah, he got the
Championship?
Golden Glove. Yeah,
That's
and
it.
he's got the record as well with 21 clean sheets.
Yeah. And bizarrely, Norwich managed to get 7 goals past him last season, but and he can't have conceded too many more than that, I should imagine. But no, Simon Moore always strikes me as a capable keeper, and
Sorry, Peter, it's Wilson in goal.
Sorry, beg your pardon, Wilson. Yeah, and obviously the striker that you signed from Everton, Ellis Sims, he played for Sunderland when he was on loan there last season against us and was impressive. I know he's took a little while to get going with yourselves, but what have you made of him? You've got high hopes that he'll get plenty of goals?
Yeah, obviously he did start, from my point of view anyway. I'll get Mark's view in a second, but for me, he did start quite slow, and then he's couple of weeks ago, he got or a week ago, he got the 2 goals that he so
that was
badly
a QPR, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's correct, yeah. And we thought he'd kick on. To be fair, he didn't score, but I thought he had quite a good game. He had the opportunities. He had a couple of lackluster shots, perhaps, but yeah, there's still high hopes for him. We can see a player in there, and the same for Haji Wright as well. We can see a player in Haji Wright. Obviously, he got the winner last night against Blackburn. But again, they've just got to. I don't mind if we lose, even on Saturday. I don't mind if we lose, as long as I see a performance.
Yes.
And the performances have been getting better. So for me, as long as the performance up there, I think we'll give you a game. Like I said, you are a bit of a bogey side for us. But yeah, I think as long as the performance there, we'll give you a game. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I agree. I concur what you say about Ellis Sims. He's taken a little while to settle into the team. I think just getting fitness up, getting used to the style, the way we play our football, also linking up with Matty Godden, getting a partnership going. But certainly the last 2 to 3 games, I think he's been really impressive. I felt he was really good against Huddersfield. If he scores that goal that hits the bar and comes off the IR and goes in, if that's Ellis Sims' goal, I think he could have gone and got another goal against them, and we could have ended up beating them. He was good against QPR. He did miss a 1-on-1 early in the second half, but he took his goal really well, because that first goal he just hits it instinctively without really thinking about it, and it goes in. Luckily, it goes through the keeper's legs, and he's there at the right place at the right time to get the second goal. So his performance has been good. I thought it was good last night. He's looking lively. He's looking hungry, and long may it continue, because I think he will be a really good signing for us. But it's like a lot of our players, you have to be patient. We've had a big turnover of players in the summer, about 10 new players. That's almost like a new team. So it's understandable that it's a slow start. But the good thing about ourselves is that we've only lost 2 games. We've been quite a resilient side. That's certainly in the DNA of Mark Robinson's teams. We always play hard, and we're a resilient team. The game against Watford is a prime example of that, coming from behind 3 times to get a draw. So I think Norwich, they may be depleted, but we're also depleted as well. We've got a lot of injuries ourselves. So I think it'll be a tough game. I think every game in the Championship is hard. But I think, if I have to be honest, although Norwich, as you say, Stuart, on the bogey side, I think this may be a good opportunity to play them now. Bearing in mind they've come off a long trip to Swansea, which is which is obviously one in the country is another. So, and we're at home again. So we got. I think we can win this game, but I think it's probably our best opportunity to beat Norwich, to be honest. So I'm hopeful of a good performance.
Okay, moving on to predictions. Then, what's your prediction, Mark? I'll go to Mark first.
Difficult one. I'll probably go for a 1-1 draw. I think Norwich are still a dangerous side. So I think on our day we could beat them. I'm just a little bit worried by just how lack of options I feel on the bench, because there seems to be a lot of players missing. Yeah. But I'll be happy with a point. Having said that, I think if we played how we played like we did last night, we can win. But I'm gonna sit on the fence and go 1-1.
Okay, Peter, how about yourself?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, we could do anything. We have been so sort of unpredictable. We conceded 6 at Plymouth, yet we went to Southampton and got 4, and went to Huddersfield and got 4. So, you just don't really know what you're going to get with us. But if I'm perfectly honest, I just think, will we lose 5 away on the spin? I don't know. I'm inclined to go with Mark and say I think it'll be a draw. I don't know if you've had a 0-0 yet, but we haven't.
Sunderland.
Yes, Sunderland.
Yeah, Sunderland. Yeah, of course. Yeah. That was your first home game, wasn't it? Yeah. So I think it could be. I think it could be 0-0.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I've just got a feeling that Norwich need to sort themselves out defensively. They'll be quite determined not to lose them both, and I just don't know if we're good enough at the moment to beat Coventry.
Yeah. Well, I got the Blackburn Rovers one right.
Yes,
I said 1-0. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory as well. I think it will be a very tight game. I would be happy if you offered me the draw now. I would snap your hands off and I'd take it. But yeah, we are being more resilient. Our defence is slowly clicking, and they're looking a little bit tighter at the back. We do still make the odd silly little mistake, I think, sometimes, but I think that's slowly being ironed out. So I think we might just edge this. And like Mark said, I think with the injuries that you've got to Sargent, Grant Hanley, and a few others as well, I think it is the right time to maybe play and hopefully get the victory. Because Josh Sargent, for me, is a massive miss for you guys.
Yeah, that's very true. Just getting back to Sims, gents, is he suffering a little bit from having to fill the boots of Gyökeres? Because that's obviously a big, a tough act to follow, isn't it, with the best will in the world? Is that putting a bit of additional pressure on him? Is that something that he's having to cope with, or is that not the case?
I'll let you answer that one, Mark.
I think some fans maybe might compare him to Gyökeres. I think I just judge him as an individual player. I think realistic as fans, I mean, it's hard to replace guys like Gyökeres and Gus Hamer. For me, the bigger loss was Gus Hamer.
Replacing him, he was a fantastic player, wasn't he?
Yeah, because he does everything. He tracks back, wins tackles, provides assists, takes set plays, free kicks, everything. And he scores goals. And with Gyökeres, yes, he did score a lot of goals last season, but he did miss a lot of chances as well. So although he's a really good striker, I don't think he's the finished article. And likewise, Vela Sims, I don't think he's a finished article, but he's a young striker. He's 22 years old.
I was going to say, we need to remember he is 2 years younger than Vic as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I just wondered if there was a bit of additional pressure on his shoulders because of the fact that you'd sold a star striker, and I suppose in theory come in to replace him, hadn't he?
Yeah. I think there maybe was when we missed a few chances, then fans will start to get on his back a little bit. But I think now he's got a couple of goals behind him. I think his confidence is my perception of him, how I'm seeing him at the moment, is he looks confident.
Yeah.
And I think the fans are right behind him as with Haji Wright. I think Haji Wright, we actually spent I want to say £7 million on him. Yeah. Who's probably our most is our record signing. So there's pressure on him a bit. He hasn't been starting for us, and I'd expect him to be on the bench because I think generally Matty Godden has been starting every game for us up front. So I would expect the team probably to be the same team as the second half last night. That's what I would expect it to be.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Any other questions, Mark, for Peter?
Well, I hope you don't win on Saturday, and I wish you luck after Saturday.
Yeah. Likewise, of course. Yeah, we've got a good rapport with Coventry City, and that they're a good. I always tend to think that Norwich and Coventry are two fairly similar-sized clubs with the best will in the world, aren't they? In terms of fan base, where they've been, what they've done, etc., etc. So it's always quite a useful yardstick when we play one another to see where we are. And again, it'd be nice to get a positive result on Saturday, but I think we might end up having to settle for a draw at best. But wish you two guys all the best for the rest of the season, other than when you pop along to Carrow Road in 2024 as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Likewise.
Right, just before you go, we do a little word association game with our guests.
Okay.
So I'll just say sort of one word or a couple of words, and you just give me a 1 word or a 2 word answer or a little bit of an answer. So the first one then is Delia Smith.
Nice food.
Okay. Your favourite manager?
Nigel Worthington.
Okay. Carrow Road.
Home.
Yeah, a lot of people say that when I say the stadium. Player of the season so far?
Jack Stacey.
Okay. And Josh Sargent.
Desperately missed.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much. In a minute we'll end. When I end it, Peter, don't rush off. We'll have a quick chat afterwards.
Okay, yeah, no problem at all.
All right, buddy. Right, so thank you very much for coming on.
No problem at all.
Thanks, Peter.
And again, thank you, Mark, for coming on. Just remember where you can find us, guys. Obviously, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We are partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar as well. If you do like what you hear and see from the videos that we do, please go and like and subscribe. Much appreciated. Follow us on Twitter. We do a Twitter space at 9 o'clock on Sunday nights. So if you want to join us on there, feel free to join us on there as well. But YouTube, please go and like and subscribe if you do like what we do. Much appreciated. Again, thank you once again, Mark, and thank you once again, Peter, and all the best for the season, apart from obviously Saturday. So thank you very much, guys, and we'll speak to you soon.